listening to Fiction Faeries, two authors chasing joy and creativity. I'm author Amanda Torrey.
And I'm author Christine DePetrillo.
Welcome to our podcast where we amplify joy, whimsy, and the magic of the written word. Hello, Miss Christine, and hello to all of our joylings.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Amanda. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing all right. There's some snow outside. It's nice and bright. So feeling good. Feeling a little cold today, though. I do have to say it's a little chilly in here. Yes. So that's why I was going to say that's why I'm glad that one thing we do on the Fiction Fairies is share what we're drinking, because what I'm drinking is definitely warming me up today. Today I have some peppermint bark tea, which, to describe it, it tastes like a liquid junior mint.
Ooh, yes. I want this.
Yes. So
yum.
Warm and that fresh pepperminty, and then there's that little bit of a chocolate kind of essence to it. So highly recommend. What are you drinking?
I want that. I'm coming over to your house. I want that right now. Road trip. I am drinking chocolate chai, and it's very yummy.
Oh, so we both have a little chocolate craving going on today. So
I'm already like half down. I've been like guzzling it before we even start.
Yeah, I have this need. I just want to hold my mug just to keep my hands kind of warm. So
I hear you. It was 59 degrees in my living room this morning. I'm like,
yep, my house too. Yeah. Well, today in Vermont, it is supposed to get a little bit. As we're recording this today, it is supposed to get to 40, which is balmy. Ooh. So
yeah, practically a heat wave.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I won't wear my winter hat today.
And that is Fahrenheit for any of our international listeners.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So our main goal with this podcast is to meet authors and other creative people, go behind the scenes into the creative process, build a whimsical and weird community, which, I mean, that's just so natural for us.
Yes, the weirder, the better. Yes.
Absolutely. We like to highlight the power of play and find joy, all the joy in creativity.
Yes.
So, Christine, I would love to hear how you invited joy into your life since our last episode.
Oh, well, since our last episode, I signed up to go to an online poetry workshop, which was hosted by a earth-centered poet and photographer named Alix Klingenberg. And she actually has a Substack called Earth in Verse. And I've been following her. I really like her poems. They're very, they have like an earth vibe to them. But they also have like kind of emotional backdrop to them. So I was enjoying reading them and reading her Substack. And so I saw she was doing this poetry workshop. I did buy one of her books called Secrets and Stars, which I was immediately drawn to the cover that has a fox on it over a fern, and the fox is all kind of starry. But the back of it alone captured me with the very first thing that says, "For the wolven creatures." So, yep. So the back says, "For the wolven creatures and the feral den mothers, for the heartbroken dreamers, reclaiming their voices, their time, their wholeness, for everyone who refuses to be tamed. For you, my gently rebellious seekers, my fiercely sensitive kin, I offer you a piece of my heart." So
I'm in love.
Yeah,
wow.
And like the poems have that sort of vibe to them. So when I saw she was doing this poetry workshop, I was like, okay, and it was free, which was even better. Nice. Free always brings me joy.
Free.
Yeah, yep. So she has a new book out called Quietly Wild, which according to my Amazon updates should be in my mailbox at some point today. So she was sharing from that, but the workshop itself was her reading a few of her poems and then giving us a line as a prompt to write to, and then there was time for sharing afterwards. So it was just nice to listen to her poetry from the new book, to then have that spark my own creativity, and then just to be in an online community of other people who both enjoyed her work and who are poets themselves. And I've been thinking a lot about poetry, and I've been collecting a lot of poetry that I'm writing myself. So I think there might be a poetry book on the horizon, which will bring me joy to bring that out there.
Yes.
So
I love
Yeah.
that because I always
So,
love the poetry that you share online. Like it's just always so beautiful.
well, I really the thing I love about poetry is that whenever I'm stuck in writing prose for a book, especially in the romance that I write with the hero and the heroine, which is very, our books are very emotional, and sometimes I just kind of get stuck on where I want to go. And if I step back and write poetry related to the story, I can really get at the emotions between the two characters often.
Oh,
So that's always been a little strategy of mine. So yeah, I just have a lot of fun with that. So
that's a really interesting way to do it. I like that.
yeah.
Wish I
So
could write
yeah.
poetry so I could
Yeah.
use that.
Well, see, that's the thing. What's funny, the way that you just said, I wish I could write poetry. When I was a teacher, and we taught a poetry unit, I have a lot of kids, fifth graders, who were like, I don't write poems. I don't write poems. I don't write poems. That's not for me. I don't know how to do it. And to me, I'm like, there are some poems that have rules. I'm like, but the best thing about poetry is that it actually has no rules. And
Yes.
like once they sort of saw that, and then the second thing that always got them hooked is when they realized that songs, the music that they love, is poetry. I'll never forget. I did have one student who struggled. Was like not struggled, was more like I'm not a poet. I'm not writing this. And after going through it, she's like, I never knew I could write poetry.
Oh,
It's like,
I love
yes,
that.
you can. Like everybody can. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, I don't write poems. I don't do that. But you can.
Right,
And it's
you
just
can,
like
right.
anything can be.
Yes, you
anything
just
can
have to
be a
tap
poem.
that
So.
faucet, tap the faucet, get the rest out of it. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
did
Yeah,
love writing
give the
poetry
bottle
as
a little
kid,
shake.
actually.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so that's something for your inner
True.
child there. I think
that's
is like,
true. Maybe I might
yeah,
have to play with some poetry.
yeah.
I've always
Okay.
admired songwriters and stuff too, because I'm like,
Yes.
how do you get this emotion in this just such few words? I'm like, I need a
Words.
whole book to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely something maybe to hone.
That's true too. Yeah, it really is a lesson in word choice because you don't have a ton of words to play with. You are trying to say it as succinctly as possible, so each word you choose becomes that much more important. So
Yes.
so
true.
anyway, so that was my joy since the last time.
Love
So I am looking
that.
forward to her book, her new book coming in, and both books, the Stars and Secrets that I shared, and the Quietly Wild. Those links will be down below if you want to check those out as well. So, how about you? What did you do to bring joy into your life since we last recorded?
Well, one thing that's like on a personal level is that I got to spend the day with my new grandbaby, who's now 2 months old, and her mom, my daughter-in-law. And it was the first time my daughter-in-law and I have ever hung out like without my son around, and it was really special. It was very special. So we did a little shopping, just did a little, hanging out, and it was so fun.
Nice.
My granddaughter's just starting to get to like, she's waking up a little longer, and she's always been so alert. And then so creativity wise, I found joy. I just have been sort of playing around with some cover concepts for I have a Christmas book that like I never ever remember to promote at Christmas time. And this year I'm like, I'm gonna do it, but I want to like freshen it up a little bit. So I've been playing around with that, and I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
Kind of figuring out sort of what angle I want to go with that. So
Fun. Yeah, cover art. There's always like so many options to like choose from, and even nowadays too. Just within the romance genre itself, you have landscape covers, you have couples covers, you have the illustrated covers. Like your choices are there's so many choices.
Yes, yes. And then all the fonts and the placement and everything.
Yes.
So it's fun to play around with. So,
Yeah,
and it
definitely.
kind of stretches me create. I can't talk. Why am I even doing a podcast? I'm like,
You can do it. You can do it.
Creatively. That's
Yes.
the word I was struggling with.
I always find too with the cover art, like when you start thinking about it, it really forces you to get at the heart of what your book is and what it's about,
Yes,
and like because
so
you're
true.
trying to like represent this like 300 page
Yes.
tome with a single image,
Yeah, and try to capture that atmosphere or the feelings. And this is a kind of a cozy book. So I'm like, all right, I want like the cozy main street with the snow and
Yes.
the toy shop, and
Yeah.
So.
And
Playing
it's
around.
at that point that you wish you were a professional photographer because none of the
Yes.
stock images are
Right.
exactly what you picture.
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
actually gotten into the habit of, I haven't, my new series doesn't have couples on the cover, but when I had couples on the cover, I started to get into the habit of looking for the stock photos first before
Yes.
I started even the story
Right.
because, I remember one of my books, One Kind Touch, he was a dark-haired man with glasses and like I just could not
Mm.
find the right guy for the cover,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, you know what, he's gonna not have his glasses on in the
Yes.
cover because I just can't
Yeah.
find the right one. So
He takes them off to kiss her.
yes, right, exactly, yeah, because I always do that. The glasses really get in the way of kissing. What?
I mean, if it's a very passionate kiss, you don't want to break the glasses.
That is true. Yes, that's my top priority. The glasses must stay intact. They cannot
Excuse
be.
me.
Yes, they
I
cannot be a
must
victim of passion. No, they
I
mustn't.
must remove my spectacles.
Right. Yes. Oh boy. So when this podcast is airing, it's Thanksgiving in the United States, and it is a great time. I just think November and autumn is a great time anyway to think about gratitude. So we're gonna think about gratitude a little bit in our Spirit of Joy segment for this episode. We Fiction Fairies have been thinking a lot about how gratitude nurtures our inner artists to then make them able to be our outer artists and be able to share our art with the world. So being thankful kind of feeds that inner artist and sustains it and keeps it going. So gratitude is kind of super important. And one thing that we're both very grateful for is our muses, or as we often call them, those voices in our heads. The good voices, the
Yes.
ones that are helpful, not the ones that distract us,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but
Those
those
are too
those
strong.
ones that have all the ideas. So we're both super grateful that those ideas keep coming and those voices are there and those characters keep coming to us. So what
Yeah,
else?
I think that's so important because there have been times in my life where I've been so busy creatively with other projects. Like I used to do kids' party planning, and
Mm,
that took so much creativity that the voices actually left me for a while. And I was like, I didn't know I wanted you, but now that you're gone, I miss you.
yes.
So
Yeah.
definitely grateful for when they're there.
Yeah.
Um, so something else that we both wanted to add to our list was that we're grateful for is being able to publish and have control over what we put out. This
Mm,
is a great time to be a creator of any sort of art because of the internet and all the different ways that we have to be able to access readers and to publish our own work.
yeah. To just be able to make those decisions of what we want to put out there is
Mm-hmm.
such a gift to be thankful for. We're also both super thankful for partners and family members and friends that encourage our creativity. Yes, they also look at us like we're weird,
Because
but
we
that's
are.
okay because we don't mind. We
We
like to
wear it
be.
proudly.
We do, yes. That's a label we are definitely proud of. But they are supportive in the way that if we need to go into a room and have the doors closed while we're, following the muse that we're
Yes.
also great for, they give us that time to be able to do that. Or I even know too, when I literally am sometimes, wandering around kind of like mumbling, like
Yes.
dialogue or
The
or something,
voices.
you're like stuck on a scene or whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, I know, they'll have pancakes, and it's just like a random sentence that gets said, and it's nice to have like the family members support that, and they just kind of
Yeah.
know like, oh, all right, she's talking about a book and there aren't
Yes.
actually going to be any pancakes right now. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Like Jim will often, when I'm in deep plotting or writing mode, if he comes in, we're having a conversation, and he'll see my eyes kind of, my mind is not there anymore. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're in writing mode. Okay." He'll kind of tiptoe
Yes.
away. But
Yeah.
and also like just having someone like him who will, when I struggle to believe in myself, he always believes in me. Like he
Yes.
always believes that I'm capable of it and that, I could do it. And that really helps.
Yeah.
I, I,
Yeah.
I know that there are people out there who have partners that aren't as supportive. And,
Mm.
I hope that they can work through that or find somebody else who does give them
Yeah.
support, a
Yeah.
friend. Or,
Well, and it really is nice to have somebody in house where I know you've probably had this experience too, where you write a sentence and you're just like, oh, And like you're like, I need to share this sentence with somebody right now. And then you share it, and then they're like, oh wow, that's a good one. And then it's just like, oh, and that fuels you to then go ahead and write the next sentence and the next one and the next one. So yeah,
It's
definitely.
So good. Something I'm very grateful for is fellow authors that we can collaborate with, and especially my friend Christine. I just had so much fun on the series that we did together, and then this collaboration of doing this podcast, and I'm just very grateful to have you and my other friends that we get to work with. And
yeah, agreed. It's collaborations like this are then have you think about like, well, what else can we do? What else can we do? And it just, again, feeds that energy, again, that we're totally grateful for.
Those muses get together. It's like just powerful.
Yes. Yeah. Double the trouble.
Double power.
Yes, definitely.
Muse power.
Yeah. That definitely needs like a superhero like costume for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cape. A cape with wings.
Yeah, definitely.
Wings, cape. We'll work on
that. Yeah. We're also thankful for our readers, of course, so because without them, none of this would be possible. Just knowing that there are people out there waiting for the next book, loving the characters, wanting to live in the towns that we create is so much fuel to keep going.
Yes. There's literally nothing, I've had some books that sell really well, some books that don't sell as well. And it's easy to get down on those books that don't have great sales. But when I have like one reader who tells me, I was so excited to read your book. I loved it. I love this about it. It makes it all worthwhile. I'm like, great, I'm going to read the next one. It really does.
Definitely. Yeah. I have this one reader who she's on my advanced reader team, and she's like, I will read whatever you write.
Yeah.
And that just makes me be like, well, okay, then I'm going to just write
Keep on going.
Everything for you. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And that really helps too. I'm grateful for that like image in my mind of I'm writing this book for her. And then hopefully anybody like her will also find it. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
The power of the readers.
Yep.
Our books are nothing until they're read by somebody.
Yes, exactly.
Even the people that don't like them, we appreciate you as well.
Yes, true. Yep, we do.
And one thing that Christine and I both just really needed to add to this list is that we're so, so, so grateful for people who are brave enough to put their work out there. Like who create something, whether it's stories, photos, paintings, poetry, music, anything, I mean, heck, I can't knit or crochet or anything like that. But when people put the stuff out that they've created, I'm like, it blows my mind, and I'm so grateful to be able to see those things and to enjoy those things. And it just really makes the world such a better place.
Yeah. Things like that restore my faith in humanity also. Like I recently went to, this time of year, there's a lot of like holiday craft fairs around. And I recently went to one with two of my neighbors, and just walking around and seeing these things that people create that are like so clever, and just, a lot of them are functional things too. And just using materials that I would never think of combining in that way. And it's just, seeing their creativity that they're brave enough to share with the world, then again sparks your own creativity, because you go 100%. Home and you start looking at different things like, I wonder what I could make out of that, and it just it's
such a thing, because like people will be like, how do you write a whole book? That's amazing. I could never do that. And I'm like, yeah, but like, how did you just make that sculpture out of wood? Like I can't even envision that, how did you build that whole website like from code? I don't know.
Yes.
Like I don't understand how you could do that, so just everybody's creativity is just amazing to everybody else.
Yes. Yep. And we're grateful for it. And we're also grateful for people who let themselves be weird.
Best thing in the world.
Definitely. Like I said before, the weirder, the better. I've been seeing a lot of posts and articles lately about kind of letting your inner weird out. And I really do think that like this is the time for that. So like if you're somebody that's into like New Year's resolutions, like definitely put be weirder like on the list.
All the weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend too much time diminishing ourselves. You
We
know,
do,
like
yes.
we always try to make ourselves smaller and whatever. And you know what?
Yep.
We're meant to shine. Every
Yeah.
one of us.
I think too, when you share your weirdness, it's just so interesting to see what that attracts, because
Yes.
then you realize that, like, oh, there are other people that are weird like me. Like
Yes.
there's like a group for this,
Yeah,
and it's a
absolutely.
good way to like find different tribes of people who are weird in the way that you are also weird.
Yes.
So
And it's so, like, I definitely have been, because I've always been weird. I mean, we're all weird,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I have tried to, you know, keep it low at times, but it always bubbles over. But I definitely notice when I get together with certain friends that have a harder time being weird, they get weirder the more time we spend together. And I love that. I'm like, it's coming out. Let yourself play. Get it out. Let's do it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a contagiousness to it, which is
it gives people permission. I think when they see you doing something silly, it's like, oh, I can do that silly little thing I've wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it's like a tension release too, because I think like it takes a lot of energy to not be weird, like to like kind of fit yourself into this societal form, right? And then you're like, all right, well, I'm in this setting now, and this is how I should behave. But then, like, the moment you let a little weird slip out, and then somebody responds to that weird, I just like, it's like your shoulders kind of relax, and you're like, oh, all right, like we're on the same vibe here, like okay,
And you like, why do you want to be like everybody else? Like,
right?
I want people to know that I am who I am, and you're either gonna like it or you're not, and it's whatever. But like,
right. But yeah, we're grateful for the weirdness in ourselves and in others.
Weirdness for the win.
Yes.
Something else that we love is people who find hope and spread hope, even in dark times, even when things are not looking the most hopeful or the most wonderful, when things are difficult in personal life or on the world stage or whatever. Those people that are still able to like harness it and to share it, even if it's the smallest things. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because it's so easy to get lost in some of the dark, heavy stuff. And that hope really does feel like resistance. Like we're not going to let these things keep us down. And,
Yeah, it's a eye-opening thing, because you may have either gone through a series of bad things or, watching the news or whatever. And then it's so refreshing to realize that there are people out there who have hope and who are doing hopeful things and who are trying to bring light. Like, that's so grateful for those people.
So grateful.
Yep.
Keep doing it, people.
Yeah, keep it up. Yeah, this is our
this is for our wish
plea.
List.
This is our plea. Yes,
please save us from our crazy minds.
Yes. So another thing we're grateful for is access to art in pretty much any circumstance, and I think that's a lesson I know that we talked about, that we learned, especially during COVID times when we couldn't get out to see art, but like there were so many ways that emerged to have art come to us. So just that that offering of art and the accessibility of it is something that we're grateful for, because we just talked about dark times, but I think art is one of the things that lights up the time. So
I remember during the COVID shutdown where there would be like musicians would get together and do these you could just pay to go on Zoom or whatever and like see it, or like museums were giving tours. It was just so great to have that access, and also being able to get ebooks and to stream movies and things like
and I mean, and it's funny, like, I mean, sure, nothing really beats in-person experiences, but there was something to that virtual space that still felt like connection.
You get to have that community.
And
and that's kind of goes along with the next thing on our list, which is the positive side of technology that allows us to connect with others. And that whole thing of like being able, like, Christine and I used to see each other monthly at a writers group, and then she moved away. Sadly, happily for her, sadly for me. But we can still connect like this, and we can reach our joylings and our fellow authors and our friends, and even things like social media where you get to see people from high school. Like, I would have lost touch with so many people, and now I get to watch their kids growing up, and I get to see what cool hobbies they're into, and you just feel this connection. And there are downsides to all of that, being a slave to the algorithm and all these kinds of things, but there's definitely something just so joyful about being able to connect, and I am grateful to technology for those good aspects.
Yeah, definitely grateful. We talked about technology, being grateful for the technology that allows us to reach readers in multiple ways. And if you think, way back, like it'd be like book signings and things like that, where, my hope is, I know myself as a reader, I'm grateful for those things. So like, even forgetting that I'm an author, I'm grateful for the fact that I was allowed to go to that poetry workshop and meet quote unquote that author, right? Meet that poet. I wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise, because we don't live in the same area. So I just, we are thankful for this ability to build these communities online, and to have that far reaching, aspect of it, where, sometimes I'll go and I'll take a look at my sales, and I'll see that, I sold a book in Australia. Like,
yes, that's so cool.
It is to know that, I made something here in the woods of Vermont, and it made its way onto the Kindle or in print form to somebody, in Australia. That's awesome, and I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
And so cool that we can see that ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so cool. One thing, this is kind of a heavier one a little bit, but I'm so grateful that we have the ability to kind of dig up the self-confidence needed to share our work. And that's something that we've discussed before, but it can be hard. It's really hard. And I'm sure any of you joylings listening may be able to relate to this, that when you create some art, it's so personal to you. And, there's so many things that people can say about it, and maybe not, you're worrying. Even if they don't say anything, you're always worrying, like, they're going to think this is bad, or I think this is bad. And like, getting the self-confidence to be able to put it out there and let other people make up their own mind about it I think it's sort of courageous. So pat ourselves on the back for doing it, and pat you joylings on the back for even considering it. It's wonderful to do it. And I'm just grateful that we're able to summon that self-confidence so that we do it.
Yeah, agreed. I don't tend to be a confident person, like, overall. So the fact that I can kind of dig in there and pull that confidence out to share the work is definitely something to be grateful for sure. And on that note, another thing on our list was that I think helps with that self-confidence to share is we're grateful for our editors and our cover artists and influencers who share the work, because that all feeds into that self-confidence too.
Absolutely.
Because when your book has been, properly edited, and obviously typos still get through. Those typos are stubborn like that.
We accept responsibility for those.
Yeah, but even though you and your editor have read it multiple times, it still happens. But the fact that it's as polished as it can be, gives you the confidence to share it. The fact that we talked a little bit about it's got a good cover on it. So that the packaging of it, you're putting forth something that you can be proud of, which boosts your self-confidence. And then I know I get such a thrill out of seeing other people online who have read it and, who are sharing it. So that all helps with that self-confidence too. So we're grateful for those editors and cover artists and influencers.
Definitely helps us to do our job. And so grateful for people with those skill sets.
Yes.
Well, I feel like I'm getting like all the heavy ones here, but we're thankful for the fact that even when the flame has flickered, that flame of creativity that keeps us wanting to create, sometimes maybe it has even gone out, and we've considered, do we want to do this? Is this worth putting all this time and this heartache and pouring our souls into? Even when we've had those times, and I know probably every creator has encountered this. Everyone I've ever talked to has certainly. We always find a way to bring it back. We always find a way to fan that flame and tell it, you can do it. We need to do this. We need this art in this world. And then it comes back, and we do it. And I'm just so, so grateful that we're able to do that, that the flame doesn't go away completely, that we are able to start back up.
Yeah. Yeah. That those kind of embers still simmer just enough to like flash to life. Agreed. And on the idea of like the warmth of embers, we're also thankful for that cozy feeling that we get when we wrap up in a blanket by the fire with hot cocoa or today peppermint bark tea and a good book. Like just so grateful. You know, we're grateful that we're able to do our own work, but we are so grateful for all the other authors and all the other books that are out there that we get to love and enjoy. And snuggle up with. So
the best. It's not like everyone, our fantasy every day is like, I want to get into that cozy position.
Yeah, I saw a post the other day in which the person was asking, what job would you want? Like, not the one you have, what one would you have? I'm like, something that allows me to do what I just said we were thankful for. Yeah. Like something that allows me to just like 9 to 5 read for that whole stretch, like in my corduroy beanbag chair and just lose myself.
I just need a humidifier right next to me because my eyes get so dry reading books now. I would just need it just going into my eyeballs, but the rest of the fantasy
it's on.
We're grateful for all bookstores, but especially independent bookstores, because man, those people that open those, they are passionate. And if you are an indie bookstore owner, we love you. I love walking around in them. They always are like quirky and fun, and there's just so much personality in an independent bookstore, and they're putting it all on the line because they believe so strongly in literature.
I think independent bookstores are some of the weirdest places, and that's why I love them.
Absolutely. Whimsical and wonderful.
Yes, agreed. There's one that just opened up kind of near me that I haven't quite gotten to yet, but it's on my list. I'm just dying to go in there. But typical Vermont small business, like they're only opened like certain days and for like strange hours. Like that's just how it is here.
Right.
Yeah. So
they're probably working it around getting the kids to soccer.
Exactly. And I've learned that up here, before you go to anything in the community, the small business type, you should check their social media first, because there might be a post that says, we're closed today because our great aunt Helen is visiting from, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's always like the wackiest reasons,
that's awesome.
Like, we're going to have to open late today. The goats all get out of their pens. And so, so you really do don't just, look at the website hours, because those might not be what's happening today. So
like they're finding that work-life balance, and I love that. I'm all for it.
Yep. So something else that we are very thankful for is our fur babies. Both Amanda and I have pets, and we talked before about having, partners and family and friends that support us, but I feel like those fur babies are supportive as well too. Just yesterday I was writing in front of the fire on the couch, and the dog was right next to me, just kind of like keeping me on task, so very grateful to have that fur baby energy in the house. That helps.
You have to have that love and
must
snuggles, the begging for treats.
Yes. Just that adoration in their eyes that it's like, okay, I'm a worthy human.
I think that's probably why like all of my heroes in my romance novel are all like golden retriever heroes. I don't have a golden retriever, but it's that energy, that dog energy. Like nobody loves you like a dog loves you.
Yes.
Like they deserve all of our affection and our love, because they are just, and that's how I like my heroes.
I would go as far as to say, so if you're, part of a partnership and you're listening to this podcast and you want to know, like, how do I make my partner feel wonderful? What you need to do is study the way that a dog looks at their owner. Because, that's the way I want to be looked at by another human who I love. That's how I want to be looked at.
I think you might need to write a dating manual, like, from the point of view of a dog. Like, I'm going to tell you how it is.
The dog's giving the advice.
This.
Oh my God, I can totally picture this dog like looking at two humans, like trying to connect, and he's just like, you're doing it all wrong.
Yes,
and, like he just has this series of
Now go put your head on her lap and look up at her.
Yeah. Joylings, I think you are just listening to how weird ideas get born in the spot.
This happens to us all the time. Like we'll always just be like, oh, wait. And a lot of our ideas that we come up with will, flitter off into the whatever. But a lot of them make it to actual production. So
yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have to get our secretary, which is one of us,
which is you. Let's be honest.
Okay, yeah, all right. I didn't want to say, but yes, yeah. I will capture what we just said, and we'll workshop that for sure.
Amanda lives in the clouds, and Christine loves to go in the clouds, but she also has her feet firmly rooted to the ground.
With a notebook and a pen.
Yes. She gets stuff done. I think about it.
No. Well, that's what I love. I love getting a text where you're like, I'm driving, but I just thought of, and I'm like, okay, I'll record that down for later. Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope this text makes sense because I'm using talk to text and I can't read it to see if it made mistakes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's right. I just take out my secret Amanda Torrey decoder ring. Yeah. I'm like, well, if I turn this 3 clicks to the east, this is what she means.
Yes. I love that. You could decode me.
Yeah. Well, I now speak fluent Amanda-ese. So
you're one of the few. Welcome. So another thing that we are so grateful for is all things whimsical. We love the whimsy. We love as you can tell, because we are still wearing our wings on every episode and our tiaras. And, if you're listening, you could just imagine it, or, go take a peek on our social media or, YouTube or whatever. But speaking of all things whimsical, we have come up with another graphic for you, a little list, if you will. This week, we wanted to give you some inspiration and some ways to use gratitude to nurture your inner artist. So we made a little list of 5 ways that you can use gratitude to nurture that inner artist. Because let me tell you, if you don't feed the inner artist, they get hangry, and it's not pretty. It's like my children. Like my kids are all adults now, but hanger is like whatever. It's terrible with them. And your inner artist is like that. So you have to feed it. You have to nurture it. And here are 5 ways to do it. So you can find that. The link is in our show description.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out for those tips. So another thing we wanted to do in this episode is our fairy kitchen fun. Just because, with Thanksgiving, food is a big deal. And so we thought we would just take a quick pop into something that we might be making for Thanksgiving, which for me, pumpkin pie is usually one of my assignments. And yes, and what I like to do to Vermonticize my pumpkin pie is I make a streusel topping, which has brown sugar and butter, which I could probably just stop there and it's already good. But,
yeah, I know, right? My mouth is already watering.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But then I'll take some walnuts, and I take the walnuts and I coat them in pure Vermont maple syrup, so that each walnut is just slathered in syrup. And then I combine that and put that together with the brown sugar and the butter. And then you bake the pie for like 15 minutes just so it kind of gets a little bit firm on top. And then you put this topping on and then continue baking it. And it just like adds a little something special, a little crunch to the top of that pumpkin pie. And it also has the dual thing. Joylings, I don't know if you bake and if you make pumpkin pie is very susceptible to getting cracked right down in the middle. But if you put this streusel topping on, you can't see if it gets cracked. So it's like pretty every time, no matter what. Yeah. And if you want to see my pumpkin pie, I do have a picture. There'll be a link below, so you can kind of just check it out. But I'm grateful for pumpkin pie and that streusel topping. And I think the people that eat it are also.
Yes, because if I'm not mistaken, we had that at our retreat at your house.
We did.
And it was like the best pie I've ever had. It was so good. So good. So I can.
What about you?
Definitely stand by that. So
what's your recipe?
My specialty for Thanksgiving that people always request is my sweet potato casserole. And it was inspired by a dish we had when we had Thanksgiving in Disney World one year at the Crystal Palace. So it's just a sweet potato casserole with candied pecan and white chocolate topping. So it's absolutely delicious. Love it. It like feels fancy and it mixes really well with like the rest of the food. Like, just
Nice. That sounds good.
Yes. So,
White chocolate. Oh, I mean,
so
anytime
good.
you can sneak some chocolate in.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm
like-
not a white chocolate lover. I don't generally love that, but I do love it in this. It's just it just complements it so well. And you can either just shave a white chocolate bar or just get the white chocolate.
Yeah,
chips.
that's sweet potato. Let's take a moment to be grateful for sweet potatoes because it's one of those things that like it's good with like butter and salt and pepper. I mean, I even like sweet potato just plain, like I'll bake it and just have it like that. But you can do the the butter and salt and pepper. You can do like the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and apparently now you can also do it with white chocolate. So I mean, is there anything you can't do with the sweet potato? I mean,
sweet potato and black bean burgers, like sweet potato with like hot sauce. I mean, like it's endless.
Yeah.
I'm here for the sweet potato.
Yeah, thank you, Mother Nature. We are grateful for the sweet potato.
We are grateful. Yes, and it's close relative, the pumpkin.
Yes, true. Yes, true. So, Amanda, did you say that we had a wand of wonder today?
Well, yes, it wasn't exactly a question that was sent in, but it was kind of a discussion that I recently had with a reader friend of mine. Okay. And she was asking, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about a little bit with you. So, she was asking, like, when it comes to having a talent or a gift, like being able to write, she was asking specifically about being able to write a book. But I think that this can go out to any kind of talent.
Creative.
You have, any kind of creative calling that you have. She was asking, like, are you grateful for this talent, gift, calling to be able to create it? Is it a blessing, a curse, a mixture, or something else? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and then I'll share them.
That is a great question. I'm gonna have to go with it being a mixture of both, a blessing and a curse. I mean, I definitely love being able to write. I enjoy it. If given the choice of like, well, what am I going to do today? Like writing that's automatically comes out of my mouth. That there will be some writing at some point today, and I'm joyful about doing it and joyful that I can do it. But there are times where it can feel, I guess I want to use the word burden. It can feel like a burden because it's something that's hard to shut off. And so it can get a little exhausting because it feels like it's always happening. I saw a thing the other day that said, welcome to being a writer. You'll have homework for the rest of your life.
So true.
Which is true. And that somebody else said that another creative, a writer, she talked about looking at her year of writing, her like professional, her business year, and looking for times where she could set being creative down because she needed there needed to be time where she set it down. And that really resonated with me because I have a very hard time with that. I'm always like, I might be trying to do something else creatively. And the back of my mind, I'm like, you really should be writing now,
Yes.
Or I'll even think about like, I spent an hour doing something different. And I'm like, in that hour, I could have written this many pages. And so while I love it, I love doing it, there is a part where it's very hard to flick the switch to off because it's just always happening. Would I say take this gift back? Absolutely not. I like, I like being a wordsmith. I love playing with words. But you have to make a conscious effort to not let it be a curse.
Yes, that's so true.
So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say it's a mixture of both as well. Like, I don't think I realized what a gift it was. But when I was young, I definitely had a lot of people that encouraged it. And I was always sort of a little rebellious about it. Like, no, I'm not going to do that, And then when my daughter was 7, she's my oldest, and my mom started dragging me to writers groups, and I was resistant, but I'm like, well, I guess I should do something for me. Everything I do is kid related, I should do it. And then I really fell into the world of learning craft and things. And I love it. Like, I really, really love it. I love having done it. I find drafting really hard. I love plotting. I love imagining. I love rewriting. the actual first draft I find very difficult to get myself to like focus and to like do it. And I was never good at doing homework. I was the person that always would get like in school suspension for like either being late to school or not doing my homework, you know? So I have a hard time. I think it's something, especially when you're doing this for a career and you actually have to produce, I struggle with that. And I think there's so many easier ways to make money.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
You know, if I tallied up the hours I spend and the money I make, they do not, there's like probably not a minimum wage being met here.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think some months we're spending more than we're making.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah.
So there's that, but there's always the hope of it all. There's always like, I just have to write that book that's going to really take off. And I've been fortunate. I've been successful at times in this business, and, you know, and it's very rewarding. And you know, and I do, I'm grateful that I could do it. When I reread something I have written before, when I'm separated from actually doing it, I'm like, wow, like, okay,
yes,
I could do this. I'm grateful I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful to think creatively. And,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, I think you said too about being kind of pulled into the world of writing is something that is part of the gift, because you do meet so many interesting people, and just commiserating about writing struggles with others is something that really feeds us too. Like, just to know that, like, well, it's not just me that has this trouble in, you know, getting this idea the way that I want it. Like, others are struggling in the same way, and that we can help each other out of that too.
Yeah, and even like the really big authors, like, you know, we've been so fortunate to meet some really big ones who are part of our groups or part of the conferences we've gone to, and, you know, just hearing that they have the same exact worries, concerns, hopes, dreams, you know, like it's really, it's a nice thing. It's a nice world to be part of.
Yeah, definitely. Agree. Yeah, that was a great question. And if any other Joylings have some Wand of Wonder questions, again, our links are below. We're happy to answer and talk about whatever you might be wondering about. Yes. So. But I think now it's time to check in with the Sprite Spells, where we dare each other and you, our Joylings, to do something to bring you joy. And this is going to be a little bit hard for me, Amanda, because it is. We had two Sprite Spells, really, because we had said to each other about writing outside away from home. And then we had the larger, opening up to the larger community about making messy art. So on the writing outside away from home, I will say that since our last episode, it has pretty much snowed here in some capacity every day. So
you didn't build an igloo?
Yeah, I really only ventured out into the world for groceries, and then I came right back. So what I did, and I feel like this was a creative solution, but what I did for the writing outside away from home is if you walk through my woods, they abut a nature preserve. So I can step just across the line and not be on my property. I can be away from home.
Okay.
So I just, took my phone and I went and stepped right across that line. So I was technically in the nature preserve, composed a little something on my phone, and stepped back onto my property. So technically, I did meet that one.
I'll give you that.
I mean, I think I should get points for finding that technicality, because that's creative. I mean,
it's really, you remind me of my son, because my youngest, he's always been a little, mischievous. And when he was 3 years old, one time he did something and I was like, you stay on that couch until I tell you to get up, and I was, he took the cushions and made himself kind of like a leapfrog situation where he could get around the room moving the cushions. And I was like, and I couldn't even be mad, because I'm like, how can you? I mean, he's on the couch. Right? Yes. And I'm like, he's definitely going to be a lawyer. Yeah. He did not. Well, he went a different direction, but.
This is when you get at the technical definitions of words. I mean, the directive was to write outside away from home. And
you did that.
I did that, technically, yes. So I'm going to check that one, that I did it. Unfortunately, And this is like almost unheard of. So I'm glad I'm saying it on the podcast so that it's recorded for all of history.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do the messy art sprite spell homework.
Where's my fainting?
I know.
I
your papers.
I need to be, my papers, I need to be brought back. Christine didn't do her homework?
I didn't. I just, time got away from me and I just did not complete the messy art challenge in time. But that just means, though, that I have joy in making messy art on the horizon. It's a future event that is scheduled that I can look forward to. So that's that.
I will give you grace because you always give me grace when I do not do my homework. You are always very kind to me when I when I don't do the things I need to do on time or ever. Yeah. So.
Oh, good. I gotta say, like, I was a little bit like, came to this podcast and I was like, oh my God, I don't have my homework done. Like, my hands are a little bit sweaty. Like, oh no, what am I gonna do?
Hold on. Let me get my wand. I'm going to cleanse you. Here you go.
All right.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
I'm absolved.
You're
Excellent.
Absolved. You have the fairy blessing. You are.
All right. Very good. Very good. I will do the messy art. I will do it. All right.
There's always, finger painting in your gravy and mashed potatoes.
That is true. Yes. Yes.
And I mean, honestly, like making pie, that's art and that's messy.
It is. Well, not the way I do it.
No, I'm sure you don't do it messy. I'm sure it's meticulous.
No.
Never mind.
No, there's a cleanup as you go with each step.
But I mean, your hand must get at least messy a little bit, right?
All right, sure.
You might get like a crumb on the counter or something.
Okay. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Oh, gosh.
But I really did I had planned to finger paint. I have finger paints in the house. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing it. I just ran out of time. That's it.
It happens. It happens.
So how about you? How did you do on the writing away from home and the messy art?
Well, like you, I was like, why did we issue this challenge to each other in November? Because it's cold out. So, we're not probably going to sit outside. I did dictate a little bit while I was walking on the bike path, which I've been wanting to try, but it's like a little like embarrassing because there are people around. So I didn't do a lot. I have to get a little more confident in my weirdness to be able to do that even if people are around, but I don't know. So, but I did a little bit. I did that, and for messy art, I just played in some shaving cream on a cookie sheet, which I do often for children I take care of, and I often will play with them in it, but usually I give it to them and I wash dishes or something, So it was actually really fun. I put on some relaxing music, like whimsical fun music on the playlist on Spotify, and I just got in it and just like, it's so cool when you move your hands around it, you get like this suction, like your hands kind of suction to the cookie sheet. And it's just you can draw little shapes in it or just squish it around, and it's very satisfying and very... It smells nice.
Sensory, very sensory. Yeah,
nice. You get all the senses, and your skin feels so nice afterwards. It's like a spa, spa for their inner
messy
child.
Art spa. Yeah, I like it.
Yes, but I definitely think we will have to revisit the writing outside in the spring for sure.
Yes.
And so we do have a new we have a new sprite spell for this week, correct? So this is as part of our Letting Your Inner Child Experience Joy series. We wanted to issue the challenge for you joylings and for each other to gift ourselves something that you wanted in order to move forward on a creative path. So for example, maybe I would go buy a new notebook and a pen or something, something to make notes in for a new book, or could be a bigger purchase. Maybe you need a computer to be able to write your story and you have that in your budget. Or maybe it's that you need to dig out like your old paintbrushes from a closet in your house. Or maybe you need to go on a Facebook Buy Nothing page and get some yarn because you want to create something with that. Maybe you want to drag out that old sewing machine and like make a quilt or whatever it is. Get yourself a gift to be able to make a step forward, to give yourself something to look forward to in this creation process. And it can be something very simple. It could be something free. It could be that you went out to the woods and collected pine cones to make some nice Christmas decor. That's all creative. Maybe some oranges to slice up and string. Just anything that's going to be something creative that you've been wanting to do or something you've wanted to pursue.
Yeah. I mean, that gift could even be the gift of time do the project, whatever it might be creatively. Because I know
Yes.
a lot of times, we think like, oh, I need to give my time to something else.
Right.
But, we're asking you in this Sprite Spell for this week to, if time is the gift that you need in order to produce something creative, give it to yourself. So
I feel like you're just speaking directly to my soul, because my time gets filled so quickly, and it's never with the things I
well, that's what happened to me on the messy art. My time got filled with other things that I somehow deemed more important, and I sacrificed, the ability to go ahead and make that messy art.
And for the first time in your life, you did not complete a homework assignment.
I didn't complete the homework. Yeah. I mean, this is the downfall of an era for me.
No, I think it's like a celebration time. I think, it's a little whimsical to miss a homework assignment.
Yeah, it's a breakthrough. We'll call it a breakthrough instead of a setback. It's a breakthrough.
Now, if it was me, that it would be a bad thing, because I am always missing my homework assignments. But because it was you, it's actually kind of a little bit refreshing, to be honest.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. I'll take that spin on it. That sounds good. And we'll see how we did in the next episode on these new Sprite spells and on the one that I didn't complete yet. That's what we'll do. And Joylings, we would love to hear about your progress with any of the Sprite spells. You can comment wherever you listen or watch the podcast or DM us on social media. All of our links are in the show description, as always, and on the About tab in our Fiction Faeries Substack.
Fantastic. And I think that's it for episode 5. Can you believe we made it 5 episodes?
Yay!
Thank you to all of you who have been here with us. Thank you. Welcome to anybody who is here for the first time. If you enjoyed the Fiction Faeries podcast, help us out. Hit that like button, subscribe, find us on social media. If you could leave a review or a rating, that just helps other people know that there's some kind of value in what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Tell everyone you know about the podcast. Spread the joy. We're here to build a tribe, and we would love you to be part of that. Don't forget to check out our 5 ways to use gratitude to nurture your inner child.
Yep. And if you're a creative person and want to be a guest on the Fiction Faeries podcast, or you're a listener with suggestions, there are forms in the show description and on our Substack to contact us.
Indeed. And now we'll leave you with the Glimmer Challenge. We're getting our wands out. We're going to ask you to find and spread joy today. Farewell, Joylings.
Farewell, Joylings. See you next time on the Fiction Faeries podcast. Bye.
Bye.